Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to not disband your guild. I know a lot of you are struggling with it after reaching SLG and some even before, but I know this is a normal thing, guys. Don't worry about it. I was close to disbanding my own guild so many times, but we saved it somehow. Basically a miracle to stay alive, but it also takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of experience to stay alive as a guild, and I'm gonna tell you some of my experiences and what you can do. So the main reason why people, struggle staying alive is obviously players leaving your guild. There is, in my eyes, three main reasons. Two of them being either they don't have time enough to play the game anymore, they have IRL struggles or whatever, right? Or they don't enjoy the game. I don't see the point in changing anything for these reasons. If they don't have the time to play in your team and your team's goal is to play together more than, some other players, then not much you can do. On the short term, you can reduce the rate RCS to, find time to find another person to recruit. But on the long term, there's not much you can do. You got to replace that person. The second thing is no fun. And I mean, when I'm talking about these, I'm talking about like excessive people. They only want to raid like 3 hours per week, and your team's goal is to raid 3 days per week, and it just won't fit. The same thing with no fun. If they don't enjoy the game, there's not much you can do. It's like if they don't enjoy your guild, you can do things like, why is he not enjoying your guild, right? Maybe you're doing some mistake and that's where they're not enjoying it. But if they don't enjoy the game, not much you can do. You gotta replace. Otherwise, it would be, if you try to like manipulate them into playing the game, it's not smart. Because you can't motivate people that don't want to do something. That's called manipulation, okay? So don't do that. It's just not good for that person. It's not good for your guild either. The third thing why they leave, and that is the thing that you can control, and it's not, it's not like this is going to be like the reason why all players leave, but this is going to be the reason why the players that you want to keep, that you can keep, are going to leave. So let's control this, and it's going to lead to, if you control this, it's also going to lead to many other good things. So they don't see the point in staying in your specific guild. If that's the problem, then you have to think to yourself, why is this happening? Most of the time, it's one of these three next things I'm going to say. Either your team does not have the same goal. Now, this is a big topic, obviously, having the same goal, but they roughly, to some extent, have to have the same goal. In Echo, our goal is to get war first. In other guilds, or actually, and I mean, in my old guild as well, our goal was never to get a specific rank, actually. It was always to improve massively in your game, in your gameplay. And, that was our goal. It can be the goal of many guilds, but some guilds will also have the goal of being social and friendly to each other. So, and then if there's people that have these different goals, there's the 10 people in your guild that want to get a higher rank, while the other ones don't give a shit about your rank. They just want to have fun and meme and be social and be kind to each other. Now, if there's these different goals in the same guild, there's just no point. You gotta separate them and to put in the guilds that they belong to, right? So not having the same goal, super big problem, leads to frustrations between players. People flame each other. People talk trash behind their backs because of not having the same goal. The second thing is not meeting expectations. If your people have a goal and you don't meet their expectations, then it's going to cause problems. How do you not meet their expectations? By getting a bad world rank, by not improving your world rank too much, by having negative Andes in your team, if your team especially is a focus on a social aspect guild, or, by all sorts of things, whatever your team wants you to do. If they want to have more often players online to play with, then you got to have people that are online. You can't have people just turning on for raids. If there's, 5 people that want to have that, let's say, or if that's your main goal, to play around M+ or something, and there's nobody to do with M+ with, obviously players are going to be frustrated, right? So you got to meet their expectations. And the third one, and it is kind of like a byproduct of these two, is not kicking people. So there's going to be people eventually, maybe over time they change, maybe you recruited the wrong person, and there's going to be people in your guild that don't really belong into that group. They don't share the same goal, or they don't have the same skills, or they just, don't match in your team. It might be because I don't know. There's so many reasons why people don't belong in a team. They might be negative Andes. Maybe they're not team players. Maybe they're bad players. Maybe they don't want to improve. Maybe they don't have time. But they still keep playing and hold that Raider spot that, prevents you from taking other players in. And what that leads to is usually that person being, again, getting trash talk, getting kind of hated, like not really hate, but people just don't enjoy him having around, and this all leads to frustration between the players, and then eventually they might consider, if there's too many people like that, if there's 5 of these people that don't really make sense to have in the team, they might consider another guild to go to, because why bother with this guild that's not managing their players properly. And what you have to do in that case is consider, like, should I kick this person? And you don't have to feel bad about kicking a person. This is a completely normal thing to do. If that person is, dragging the atmosphere down because of whatever, right? Because, and I'm not talking about a person like struggling through something. Usually it's people that just don't have time, or they don't, bother preparing for a raid, or like a very, very often case in our guilds is that there are players, let's say, that they don't keep up with ults. They don't turn up to PTR tests, or, read up on the bosses. They have their own goal, whatever it is. Sometimes they don't even have a goal, and they just don't leave the guild because they're like maybe too scared or something, or they don't have anything else to do. So they just stick around, have a different goal, and drag the morale down because, they don't share the same goal as the rest of your team. And you just have to remove that person. There's no other way around it. You can talk to him. You can obviously explain the situation to him and see if there anything changes. And you should do that most of the time if you think there's a point. But you have to kick him. Otherwise, everybody's going to get kicked. Otherwise, the guild will disband. Like, I can guarantee you, if you keep too many people of these type around, you're just going to disband. So kicking people, a massive, very, high to manage advanced skill that you have to have. Now, that was players leaving topic. Now, the second part is players leaving in a mass amount. And when I'm talking about that, I mean like 5 players leaving at once, 10 players leaving at once. How you avoid that is having a good communication up with your players, especially in lower rank guilds. This happens so many times. But it even happens, like, I would say probably even in top 10 guilds, this happens. And what people fail to do is having a good communication with their team. You need to talk to your team, especially before progress, guys. This is super massive. But the biggest tip I can give you in this whole video, if there's one thing you can take away, this is the biggest thing. Talk to your players before progress, right? Like 2-3 months, ideally, before progress comes. When PTR starts, that's roughly when you should talk to players. And ask them, what's up? Like, what's going on? Do you enjoy playing in this team? Do you want to play next year? What's up? Are you going to be able to manage your IRL? You don't have to go into their private life. But, I mean, you can ask, like, let's say the tier ends up being on your exam time. Are you going to leave the guild and play the exams? Or go to your exams? Or can you manage them both? Most of the time, they can't manage them both, just FYI. So, ask these questions and figure out if they're going to be probably in your team. And then once, like, go through literally all players. That's what we used to do so many times before we became like pro players. But back then, we would every tier go through players. And the one time I did not, and that's what caused this whole thing for me to do this. I remember very clearly, BlackRock Foundry, the next tier got announced or something, and I got a PM like every day. I had maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players leaving one after each other. And then I said, wait, hang the fuck on, what is going on here, right? Most of the time, most of them just were burned out. They just didn't want to play like as much and stuff, because we were trying to get always better ranks, and it was like world rank 10 or something. But I realized not having this communication is a massive mistake, because what happens is, because the patch comes, progress comes, everybody has to play a lot more. And that's when they realize, oh shit, I don't want to play this much, or I can't play this much. And then if you didn't have the communication up with them, then you notice it when they notice it, which is really late, which is not when you want to notice. You want to notice it like a month earlier at least. So you can prepare, get new players, recruit them. But you have to have this communication up, and maybe you can even prevent them from leaving. Maybe there's a reason they leave. Maybe they want to go to a different guild because of some other reason. Maybe, you can fix that. Maybe it's a problem in your guild. Whatever it is, you want to have the communication up so you don't have them leaving mass, like all at once. This happens to us right before HFC. Our guild number went below 20. So we were like, I wanted to go for like, top whatever the fuck, it was top 10, and we were trying to get better and better, basically like getting closer and closer to World First. And suddenly I was so shocked not to have 20 players in my team. And eventually we saved it by merging with Noki's guild back then. But it's which did not end up good. Much more about that story later. But yeah, the main thing is that you got to avoid mass players leaving at any cost. Talk to them before the tier, and make sure this doesn't happen. Now the last thing, actually not last thing, sorry, one before, and the last thing will be a thing that helps you with doing all of these things that I said. The third thing is not enough recruitment. Kind of obvious, right? Players leaving, you got to recruit as well. Not honestly, I don't think there is like a massive amount of work that you have to do for this, because the common thing how people recruit is by applications. I personally I haven't had much luck with applications since a very, very long time. We just don't get enough. Or, I mean, maybe at some point you also get more and more, traction, or more and more people applying because they want to be in your guild because it's a good rank guild. But at the same time, the majority of the players playing this game are not good enough to be in your guild. So most applications are kind of trash. What we have a lot more success with is with recruiting with word of mouth, talking to friends and family, and not usually family, but mostly friends, talking to people that you do M+ with, that you think are good, that you maybe played WoW Classic with, that maybe you PvP'd with, whatever it is you do. If you were like a social guild, let's say, maybe people that you pit battle with or something, right? And that you they have nice personalities, they know how to play the game, and you think they might be good enough. Try to recruit those people, guys. It's so much better to recruit people that you know rather than just complete strangers. And I mean, I'm not saying applications are not a possibility. Especially early on, you will get good apps as well, but most of the time, if people are good enough to write an application, they're likely not gonna write it to your guild unless your guild is kind of good. Then yeah, especially I think like around top, let's say from rank 10 to rank like 100, you're gonna have good success with applications, maybe even to like 200. But after that, I think it's a fiesta, because after that, I don't think it's about like experience or skill as much, but instead it's more about just having the same goals and having the time and enjoyment in the game to go for that goal, because I think anybody can reach like rank 200 or something. So yeah, not enough recruitment. What you can do for recruitment is those things, and also definitely set up a good place to apply. But I think most people already do that. Most guilds I see nowadays have like Discord servers and app forums and stuff like that. Technology has went quite far. Back in the days, we just had forums. So yeah, I think those are the three things you can do, guys, for your guild to succeed, to stay alive. And the fourth thing that will help all these things is getting good officers. That's a topic for itself, but basically getting people that you think are smart, they're capable, they understand how the game works, they have the same goal as you. Like having the same goal within the team is one thing, but having the people have the same goal as you is the other thing. You need to get officers, and you also, for players, from a new recruit, you have to tell them, this is my goal. Do you want to be in this guild doing this with me? Whatever it is, right? Having the sickest memes, boys, or whatever it is that you enjoy. For me, I always tell them, we're gonna go for War First. Do you share the same goal? Most of the time at this point, I don't have to tell them because they know that. But back in the days, I would be saying, I want to improve the ranks. I'm not going to stay here and play this game at world rank 200 or whatever guild rank I was, right? So having the same goals, super big, and also get officers that have the time that they can put in, because nobody likes officers that slack. Even if they share the same goal, if they have other stuff to do, other responsibilities, they're not going to put in the time. They're going to slack, and nobody's going to do an officer's work without being an officer or without being considered for an officer spot. Like it's just nobody's going to do it, and instead people are just going to trash talk the officers. They're just going to say, "Well, look at these slackers. They don't do these spreadsheets that I could do," but they never do it, of course. But yeah, so getting good officers is the last point, guys. With this, we come to the end of the video. I hope your guilds stay alive. May your guilds be safe. Try to apply the things that I spoke about, especially, again, avoid mass player loss, because that's the thing that's going to lead to guild destructions. And you do that by having communication up with your raiders before the tier, especially, before patches, especially. And yeah, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you think maybe I didn't mention the reason your guild disbanded or is about to disband, which I hope did not happen, but let me know in the comments. I'm really interested. This is a big topic. If you liked the video, if it was useful, please like, and yeah, see you next time. If you want to see me next time, make sure to subscribe. Bye-bye.